What's cracking, people? Back with another reaction, back with some more punk rock, and we're back with some more Operation Ivy. And indeed, I mentioned punk rock rather than saying ska punk or ska, because this tune by Operation Ivy is pretty much entirely down the punk rock side of their spectrum. I don't think it's a ska tune in any meaningful sense, but yeah, it's also from their Energy album. I also have it here on their Operation Ivy compilation CD. Again, I don't know if there's like a name to this. I think it's just called Operation Ivy, but it's on Lookout Records, which is like a Bay Area punk rock and like ska independent label. Like I said before, I'm a fan of pretty much this band's entire catalog, not just the stuff that's on here. There's one other compilation that they were on, which has some songs like Plea for Peace is always the one that I think of, and there's a couple other ones on there. But yeah, it was a very short-lived band, or short-lived band, I should say, but one that will go down in history. And indeed, many punk bands that I've heard talk about, sort of their inspiration and, bands that inspired them sonically, not just lyrically, many people will mention Operation Ivy. So yeah, but we're going to listen to a tune called The Crowd, which I find very interesting musically, as I said, just because it is basically a straight-up punk rock number, and it's very like gritty, kind of like has an early 80s feel, even though this was like 89 when they were recording this. And secondarily, the lyrics are interesting to me. It's another one which, has a bit of like opacity. It's a bit allegorical, but as far as I can tell, it's about wanting to break out of the like monotonous, entrenched sort of like what's the word, like the infrastructure that you're put through, and the sort of like the sort of chronology of your life as laid out by the sort of modern status quo society. It's wanting to get away from that. And it basically talks about, like, when you're a kid, you're basically rushed out of bed before you're even really awake, and you're, on the bus at 7:15, and you're on the way to school, and it's like you're just sort of like put into this framework from the very earliest days, and then, at the end of it, maybe you get out of school and you get a job and whatever, but you basically spend your nights kind of drinking away, and that's what you do with your expendable money. And, there's a line about like liquid bread for the poor, and ultimately, the point of the song is that, like, if you really want to get away from this, I think it uses a metaphor, something like a wasp in a storm or something like that, but it's like you ultimately need to find a gathering of people, not just a crowd, not just the sort of like the mob that is out there and like, just does what everybody else, has sort of like set forth before them to do. But you need a gathering of people who are genuinely trying to, do something different, or at least appraise the situation and assess what the best options are. So, again, it's been a while since I've really thought about this tune, because, when I reacted to Bank Shot earlier, I was like, oh man, you know what, I am so remiss. Like, Operation Ivy, one of my favorite bands, and I've only reacted to now like 2 tunes. That's like a travesty. So this was one that immediately jumped out at me to react to, but again, I hadn't listened to it in a while, haven't thought about it in a while, so it'd be interesting to go through. But that was my memory, that it's sort of about the different phases of life, both as a young person and as you get older, the way that you're just kind of put into these sort of like established status quo rhythms and chronologies of life, and that if you really want to get away from that, you have to like find other people who share similar like impetus and values and principles, and try to build something new as a genuine gathering of people, not just as like a crowd, just kind of, yeah, where are we going, where are you pushing us, in what direction are we going? So yeah, let me know if you have a different interpretation. As I always say, nothing here, none of my lyrical analyses are definitive or even, necessarily accurate. But yeah, that's the way that I've always taken this song, so let me know if you have another opinion or another interpretation. Nevertheless, here we go. This is The Crowd, originally from their album Energy, 1989, but I believe this compilation came out, is it 91? It doesn't say it here. I'll look it up in a moment. But yeah, so this is The Crowd by Operation Ivy. Yeah, 1991 for this CD. Go like 80s skateboarding to this song.
That's into the world, didn't have to die. Where you left, like to wake you up in the night. Waking by along, 50 minutes of 5G, 20 minutes, maybe 30 seconds to the door. Look down.
into the eyes of an impersonal mob I've seen 1,000 times before. If we're scared of each other, we must be scared of ourselves. Just another crowd. We need a gathering instead. Come on.
Drink in the backgrounds. Good prep for the war. Another member of the crowd goes down. Drown at the liquor store.
Another member of the crowd goes down to drown at the liquor store. What was that like? Pick your poison in the heartlands or something like that? But at the end of it, you gotta get away any way that you can. We need a gathering instead. Yeah, it's awesome. Short and to the point. And again, it really has that sort of gritty, like early 80s, sort of, not skate punk, but like, sort of early hardcore punk that I would like to skateboard to, is I guess what I'm saying. Because I think when you say skate punk, you're thinking more like early to mid 90s, a bit more of like a pop punk, like melodic punk flavor. But no, I really do love that song. And like I said, it's a sort of a rarity for them in that most of their songs have a horn or at least, like a ska kind of rhythm guitar. But that one just feels like a gritty, sort of old school hardcore punk number. And I do love the message too, that like, there's a difference between like a bunch of people all kind of going through the same process and all kind of like being in the same room together versus a gathering, a meeting of minds, a genuine attempt to like collaborate and come to new understandings, negotiate, maybe discuss, debate. But yeah, without that, we'll just be entrapped in these sort of like, inevitable sort of chronologies of status quo, like monotony and boredom leading right to our deathbed. But yeah, let me know what you think about that tune. Let me know if you're a big fan of Op Ivy or that song particularly. And yeah, if there's any other Op Ivy that you'd like to hear reacted to, I have pretty much everything they did. Like I said, I have this compilation which includes most of their material, and then there's like one other like EP or like compilation they did that I have ripped to my computer. I don't remember exactly who had the disc. I think it was a friend of mine. But yeah, so I pretty much have anything in their catalog. So let me know if there's another tune by them you'd like to hear. Other than that, thank you for listening and watching. I do appreciate it. Have a good day, have a good night, and I will see you next time. Peace.